The world knew his name before he even knew himself. Michael Jackson, the prodigy, the star, the phenomenon. But beneath the glittering stage lights, behind the perfectly executed spins, and the voice that could shake souls, was a boy who had never truly lived as one. At 5 years old, he was already rehearsing until his feet ached. At 8, he was performing under blinding lights, his childhood slipping through his fingers like sand. The laughter of playgrounds, the innocence of scraped knees and lazy afternoons, he had no time for them. His world was hotel rooms, recording studios, and screaming fans. His father's voice was not one of bedtime stories and warm embraces, but of sharp commands and relentless perfection. Again, Joseph Jackson would say, his eyes cold. And Michael, exhausted but desperate to please, would dance until he could no longer stand. The world adored him. They called him a genius, a star, a king. But inside, he was a boy locked in a cage of expectations. He watched other children from afar, on television, in passing cars, in the distance, laughing, playing, living. He envied them. As he grew, so did the walls around him. Fame was not freedom. It was a fortress, keeping him away from the simple joys of life. He tried to reclaim what was stolen from him, creating Neverland, a sanctuary of carousels and cotton candy, where childhood could be bottled and relived. He surrounded himself with laughter, with magic, with wonder. He built a world where time stood still, where no one had to grow up, where innocence was safe. But the world didn't understand. They mocked him, questioned him, turned his attempt to heal into something sinister. No one saw the little boy inside, the boy who never had a chance to climb trees without a camera flashing, who never rode his bike down the street without bodyguards trailing behind, the boy who never had a normal birthday party, who never ran home to a mother calling him in for dinner. Instead, he had a contract, a tour, a world watching his every move. And yet, despite it all, Michael Jackson became more than just an icon. He became a legend. With Thriller, he shattered records, selling over 70 million copies worldwide. With Bad, Dangerous, and History, he revolutionized music, transforming pop into something cinematic, something larger than life. His moonwalk became a symbol of perfection, his voice an instrument that carried emotions deeper than words ever could. But his greatest achievement wasn't just his music, it was his heart. He gave millions to charities, built hospitals, and visited orphanages, holding children in his arms and whispering, "You are loved." He fought for a better world, using his platform to speak out against injustice, hunger, and suffering. He sang for the voiceless, danced for the forgotten, and gave hope to those who had none. Still, the world demanded more. They scrutinized him, tore him apart, and misunderstood his need for the childhood he never had. No matter how much he gave, it was never enough. In the quiet moments, away from the blinding lights and deafening applause, he would sit alone in Neverland, watching the carousel spin under the moonlight. Sometimes he imagined a different life, a life where he was just Michael, a boy running barefoot through the grass, laughing without a care in the world. But that life had never been his to live, and so, he remained suspended between two worlds, one where he was forever the king of pop, and one where he was a child frozen in time, longing for something he would never truly have.